time to take those earplugs out and give these women a listen. Women have been consistently ignored in the music scene for years. From being mistreated by their male counterparts to instruments not being designed for their bodies, it's been hard for women to get their work out there. In the 1990s, the third wave of feminism hit, and women began to infiltrate the punk rock scene. A new genre of music, Riot Grrrl, formed, and more women began to enter the scene. Today, the amount of women in the music industry is higher than ever before, but the inequalities they face have not gone away. A 2019 study by Pryor et al. Found that 77% of women in the scene felt that they have been mistreated or treated differently than men. But having women in the scene can significantly impact other women and girls who are facing similar inequalities or are hoping to enter the scene themselves. A lot of young girls grow up without seeing themselves well represented in the scene. This may lead them to not believe that women have a place in the scene and that they can't do music themselves. Rain Mescalato, a guitar student at SUNY Fredonia, has experienced this sentiment.
Having women in the mainstream eye is so important for a young girl to look up and go, I see myself doing this.
Because of the impact a female presence can have on other women, many people feel that women should be better represented in music. Halle Cook is the lead singer and songwriter of Hal & Pals. She resonated with this message.
I think we just need to hear more female voices in representation, just hearing their stories. I mean, women are going through a lot of serious issues right now in the world and in this country. And I think it's important to not only hear, the male breakup tunes, but the women who have broken hearts as well.
One way to increase the amount of women in the scene is to have a support system.
When you see women not only playing shows, but playing with one another and showing one another their songs, it changes the voice and it changes the message.
Here's an excerpt of Cook singing one of her own original songs at a performance on campus. Sid Finesilver is the lead singer and a guitar and keyboard player in the band Amphobia. As a member of a punk band herself, Finesilver wants to see more women in the hardcore punk genre.
I feel like it's important just because we're not recognized enough. It's just like, especially within the genre-esque that we have going on, there's not a lot of women in this portion of the industry.
Because of the significant disparity within gender identity across the industry, music scenes are typically more male-dominated. Mel Fajardo is a producer of The Local Lowdown, a podcast about local music at Fredonia radio systems. She's also an active member of the music industry. Fajardo has certainly taken notice of the lack of women in the scene.
It's so important to at least be noticed and be acknowledged for that sense. And I think men don't really have to think about a lot of the things that women do in terms of making themselves known or making themselves, be seen, because they don't have an issue. They don't think about, oh, I'm the only woman in the room.
Finesilver felt the same way.
It's refreshing to see a woman in this scene trying to work in a male-dominated industry, especially because most of the time they don't even get the time of day.
Finesilver and her friend Jaden Campbell have already begun to infiltrate the male-dominated scene with their band Amphobia. Amphobia is a dually female-led band. Check out their sound. Because of the unaccepting atmosphere of the scene, many women and female-identifying people have held reservations about entering the scene, despite their talents. Ashta Harder, a senior at SUNY Fredonia, has felt the same way.
I think in such a strong way having that direct representation will inspire other people like me who are musicians and are competent but are held back by the tradition of the 4 white boys doing punk music that's about 75% of Fredonia bands.
There is an overwhelming majority of women who want to see more female representation not only in bands, but across the industry. Ava Sargente is a band manager and a music industry student who wishes to see more women in music.
I just believe that women should be in any position because women need to have a voice somehow. And I feel like just having someone in every zone is just the best thing that could happen.
Although the amount of women in the scene is on the incline, women still face gender disparity frequently. But how can we change this? Well, we can support female-led bands, we can go to shows and buy their merch. But above all, we should support their message. We should hear their struggles, and we should let them have a voice. Feminist Rock was created by Chloe Kowalik for COMM 440 Journalism Convergence Capstone at SUNY Fredonia under Professor Elmer Plotz. This podcast features music from Starjuice, Amphobia, Halle Cook, and Tiny the Dream. Thank you to all the women who agreed to be interviewed for this project, and to Elmer Plotz for helping this project come to fruition.